Okay, box materials product attribute is probably the most widely used material or product attribute in the system. So with your box materials, it's pretty self-explanatory. Most of them are self-explanatory. The other ones will explain just a tad. Thickness, pretty obvious. Sheet square footage. This is for a 4x8 sheet. Width times length divided by 144 will give you that number. Your waste yield is how much of this sheet are we going to end up throwing in the garbage? What's the yield? That's going to vary from job to job. This is just a big average. It's going to get you as close as we can to allocate the right amount of resources. So how much is that? It's going to be 1 plus this number times it by the size of the parts. Weight is per square foot. What is the weight of the sheet per square foot? Your cost per square foot, pretty self-explanatory. How much are you paying per square foot to buy that material? Margin is the value that you're going to use. So 0.8 would be 80%. So I'm going to charge an extra 80% on top of the material for the box parts in this particular case. So the formulas, when you're using this margin field, sometimes you're not using this margin field. In the case of, depending on which product pricing formula you're using, you may or may not use this value. So if you're not, just put a number in here so that there's a placeholder, because the formulas are looking for a value, even if they're going to evaluate it at 0, because it's not going to end up being used. You still need to put something here. Interior band cost per square foot, or cost per foot, is the cost it is for you for a lineal foot of whatever you're going to band the inside to match the material with. Export is a field that is going to be used in your exports. For example, speaking to Cabinet Vision, Cut-Right, Mosaic, any of these programs that you're using to export to, you need to tell it what box material we're going to be using. That's what that field is for. Box material is pretty self-explanatory. Now, when it comes to the back will be determined based on your construction type. There's a value where you will set that. We'll go over that later. But in your construction type, you'll determine whether you're going to look here for the back value or whether you're going to look to a 1/4 inch drop down, for example. Or if you have a different size of a back, then you would use it would not be looking here for those values. So that's your box material drop down. Pretty self-explanatory and extremely important that these fields are filled out.